Capote.
No.
Capote.
Truman Capote wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's?
He either wrote it or he made the movie.
I doubt either one.
Well,
But go on. I'm going to look this up while you're talking.
Okay, but so this is it. We find out it's a book. Mallory says, I would like to listen to the audiobook of this. And I say, only if Michael C. Hall reads this as well. Then we start talking about how, different people, Patrick Stewart can read some books, other actors read other books. I pull out the computer, we go on to Audible, check out who does any readings for Breakfast at Tiffany's. Mm-hmm. First thing that pops up, Michael C. Hall.
Oh, wow.
Reads Breakfast at Tiffany's. Blew my mind. Couldn't believe it. And then I go to check. It's like, well, he must read hundreds of books. That must just be one of the things he does on his off time. No. 4 books.
Really?
2 of them are Stephen King books.
Huh.
One of them is this like weird history book about dinosaurs and bones. And out of nowhere, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Breakfast at Tiffany's 1958 Truman Capote novella.
There we go. What are the chances, Sebastian, that I'm pushing Michael C. Hall on this Pet Sematary book, saying, you got to listen to it. Then she says, I'm going to listen to an audiobook of Breakfast at Tiffany's. I joke, only if Michael C. Hall narrates this too. And he does. Out of nowhere. Out of the only 4 books he's ever read and recorded. And isn't it kind of out of place?
Well, it is the Truman Capote.
Yeah.
He did In Cold Blood. I feel like that would be better fit.
You're not as blown away by this as I am, Sebastian.
I mean, it is quite a coincidence, but it's also you set the story up to me as it being a coincidence, so I kind of saw where this could
It's true.
gone.
I didn't really know how to tell the story with it having the best impact.
Yeah.
But, I think now that everybody has all the information, I mean, tell that story to yourself in whatever way surprises you the most. Because clearly that was not the way to tell it. But just one of those moments that you don't believe it's real life.
It is a real big coincidence,
Yeah.
but...
And I listened to it, and I listened to a little bit of it, the portion that they let me listen to for free.
Uh-huh.
He's reading it as though he's reading Pet Sematary. Like, his voice lends itself very well to a creepy Stephen King book. Not so much to, like, this, 20-year-old yuppie just deciding what makeup she's going to wear or what dress she's going to put on.
Maybe your understanding of this book is all wrong. Maybe it should be read a lot creepier than you're realizing, and maybe you need to listen to the Michael C. Hall version just to get the proper impact. Not the film version, Matthew.
Yeah.
The Truman Capote original.
Always intended it to be a
very creepy movie.
very,
or a creepy novella.
Very off-putting and strange story.
And it's going to be a much shorter listen, I presume, because it's a novella and not Pet Sematary.
Yeah. I definitely need to listen to the whole thing to see how he characterizes the role of Mickey Rourke's character. If you remember, he played a
know what?
Chinese man.
The thing about Mickey Rourke is, Mickey Rourke before a certain time, I can't recognize because he looks so entirely different that I don't know the difference. I can't connect old Mickey Rourke and young Mickey Rourke.
Well, you'd never recognize him in this because he plays a Chinese man.
He's a Chinese man?
Yeah, he's got big like bottle cap glasses and squinty eyes, big buck teeth.
Really?
And he plays the most stereotypical insulting Chinese man.
Oh, interesting.
He yells from the top and everything is like, I can't even do it without being super insulting, so I won't. But yeah, I'd like to see how Michael C. Hall portrays that.
Handles that Asian man.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that thing kind of messed me up for a few days, man. How'd you like the burger?
I did not. No, it was all right. It was all right. I can't give this burger a great score, really.
No. You think it'll do better than your bowling score? 3.7.
Yeah, let's get into this bowling a little more, though. We mentioned our scores, but
no one knows how we got to those scores.
Yeah. By bowling poorly.
I blame it on the shoes.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna blame it on the shoes. I should have gone maybe a half size smaller. My shoes were a little loose, and I already started by going a full size smaller.
I don't think it matters.
No?
I said 9.5. She gave me a pair of shoes that said 9.10. I think you said a size 10. She gave you the same pair of shoes.
Okay, well then.
I think it's just specific down to like the closest
Two
2 feet.
two size,
two
yeah.
sizes of a shoe.
Oh, good point. Okay, interesting. I would have liked a slightly smaller size, whether it's available or not. I'm not a good bowler. The last time I went bowling was a terrible experience.
Yep.
I am such a bad bowler, and I get very frustrated when I cannot execute well at a simple game. If I'm blowing it at billiards, I get very frustrated. I sort of nearly break my cue several times a game if I'm playing very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, like darts, if I'm not doing well, might frustrate me. And bowling is the same sort of thing. I specifically took my hat off before starting to bowl because I know if I'm wearing a hat, I'm certainly going to throw it at the ground several times and probably stomp at it at one point.
There's a video of you doing that.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. Back when we were in high school, I remember you did that. I got that on video.
There you go. See, it's not even just recently or the last time I bowled. I get frustrated when I'm bowling and I need to throw my hat at the ground.
Yeah.
I need to do something. And so the last time I went bowling, years ago now, maybe 5 years ago, at one point I was so frustrated with my lack of talent at bowling that I twisted around on my toe and kicked my foot into the air, just angrily. And my bowling shoe flew because, again, wrong size, and that's why I wanted to go a little snugger this time.
Yes.
Flew right off my foot, flew maybe 10 feet, and struck the bottom of a pint of a former guest of the show, Angela Johnson, knocking that pint into her teeth, chipping her teeth, and she had to have emergency dental repair within a couple of days of then because she had badly chipped teeth because I'm so bad at bowling. I'm so bad at bowling that I get frustrated and people get hurt.
Yeah. People's teeth get broken.
Yeah.
That is awful. I mean, I knew that story going in, and I, at no point, not that I had anything to drink while I was there, but I wouldn't put a glass anywhere near my teeth if you were around.
Yeah.
And I was actually worried about even being behind you because I thought you might be one of those people that, get ready for a shot and then just let the ball fall behind them.
Yeah, you mentioned that afterwards. I was like, oh, really? You felt that way? And you were like, no, I just feel that way behind anybody while bowling.
Yeah.
But I don't swing my arm around that much that it would really go flying.
You don't even do much of a build-up. I think you actually go and stand in one place.
And I take a single step.
Yeah.
I tried a few different strategies. I tried taking a 2 or 3 step and then bowl. But I prefer, I think, lining it up and just taking a single step and bowling. It was not an effective strategy, clearly, because I scored only 34. I got one on my second frame. I managed to get a spare and was like, all right, maybe this will go better than I presumed. And it was all downhill from there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of slipping balls. I noticed the balls were very oily, and I looked at some of the lanes, and they were very, very oily looking.
Okay. I see. Your mind went to the right place. I was thinking, like, well, look at the clientele. Look at how oily all these people are. Oiling up all the balls, but that makes sense. They're just lanes.
All Greeks.
No, just really waxy lanes, I guess.
Greeks known for their olive oil.
Italians too, right?
I suppose so, yeah.
So, so you're adding to it, Sebastian. You're adding.
Yeah, I was just oiling up the balls.
No, they really seem to be slipping out of those hands of yours.
Matthew, you were using this strange. I took a video. Maybe I'll share it on the Facebook page. Of you and your awkward hurling ball strategy.
I learned it from the Japanese.
And you know what? It looked like it was working pretty dang well. It looked so awkward to execute. At one point, I just put my arm into the same sort of position that you were for hurling this ball. Yeah. And I could not fathom the mechanics of how it would work, and I refused to try. Because I figured the only thing that's going to happen is, one, I'm going to embarrass myself, and two, it's going to go even worse than my double gutter balls from the previous round, so let me just skip it.
You can do worse than double gutter, but I guess
Oh
you
yeah,
could.
throw it into the next lane.
Next lane, or just crack the lane itself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real risk when you throw it the way I learned from the Japanese. You basically, for people listening, you got to cradle that ball like a baby in your forearm. And then right when you get up to the line where you got to let go of the ball, you act like that ball baby bit you, and you hurl it away, aiming for the gutter. So you want to throw that baby ball in the gutter. And if you do it at just the right angle with just the right amount of speed, it usually hugs the gutter for a little bit and then veers off to the left and hopefully gets you a strike. It works.
It worked a couple of
the
times
time
for you. Yeah.
Other than that, it's a really hit or miss, though, because you either get a pretty good shot or it goes right in the gutter and everybody says, well, yeah, you were aiming for the gutter.
Or it could curve too far or too soon.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So I don't know. It's bowling's hard.
Bowling is pretty hard.
Yeah.
I feel like you also bowl more frequently than I do.
It's been years. I try to give myself a couple of years in between because I want that beginner's luck.
Each time, yeah.
And it's never really worked.
Matthew, before we score our burgers, I want to ask you if the chorus of pins falling down and balls striking the alleys was a good soundtrack for a burger.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it cheapened the burger a little bit because
find?
Yeah, I don't know if they try to sell it. I feel like this is better than a bowling alley burger.
How so?
When you think of a bowling alley, you just think of children's birthday parties. You think of
maybe a single arcade machine.
Yeah, you
potato
think of
chips and sodas.
People who are down on their luck. People who are maybe a little overweight. It's just stuff you've seen from movies. I mean,
Sure.
the bowling alley in The Big Lebowski wasn't anything to boast at. The
Seems like a fine
bowling alley from Kingpin.
Yeah.
It's
The Flintstones.
Yeah, real cave-like. This one, it looked like they tried to fancy up a bowling alley a little bit. They had really nice, not even really nice. They just had chandeliers looking, different lighting.
At the end of the day, like that bowling alley technology that they're using.
Yes, that was a big thing.
I feel like I haven't seen a bowling alley with computers and their system being less than now 20 years old.
Yeah. The system had not been updated since the 95,
I believe
94 to 96.
Yeah, I think, that's right. The copyrights were 94 to 96 on some of the videos of balls and pins being stopped by fences and escaping jails and what have you, whatever.
Yeah. They really capitalized on the whole idea that the balls and pins were at odds with each other.
Yes, like a couple of Looney Tunes-ish characters.
Yeah.
But these videos are all at least 20 years old, and that's just the videos. You recall bowling alleys in the 90s that would have a little demon or whatever.
Yeah.
A little two-dimensional 8-bit looking demon like waving at you or whatever.
Yeah.
If you got a gutter ball. And that stuff was from the 80s, but the computer system itself that runs the whole thing is easily from the mid 80s.
Oh yeah,
It's older than you or I.
Yeah, I had a very hard time even just putting our names in. Part of that was the French.
Still. Is there a bowling alley in this world that is using newer technology?
I don't think so. I have not seen one, and I think the market's open. I think that somebody needs to get in on it
To modernize the bowling alley?
Yeah,
Does it need it? Do people care?
I think so. I think they do. I think I'd like to see some.
Is there a chance that you put that money into a new bowling user interface and it reinvigorates the bowling scene back to its heyday of the 50s or 60s?
Yeah, I'd like to see some new and improved graphics. Maybe some like Michael Bay explosions. Maybe something like, I don't know, Steven Spielberg could direct a couple of little bowling cutscenes. I'd be down.
Do you think they need to in a world where already a decade ago we had Wii bowling and that probably took a big bite out of the real bowling market?
Do you really think it did? Do you think it took that much away?
Well, I don't know. The technology was far more advanced than that of the computers at the bowling alley.
It's true. Yeah, I think if they knew it was
and
good
I'm better
for them,
at it.
Yeah, it's true. I think if bowling alleys knew it was good for them, they'd invest in a Just
a Nintendo Wii.
Exactly.